Hi, and welcome to Clappia. If you have already started building your apps in Clappia, you would have noticed or used buttons to submit data or save drafts. In this video, we will see how to rename these buttons. Over here, I have created a site inspection app in which I'd like to change the names of the submit button as well as the save draft button. You can use this if you need certain things mentioned while submitting data. For example, if a user is submitting their details after reading some policies, you can change the submit button to something like accept policy and submit. Or if it's a student registration app, then the submit button could say confirm details. The functionality of these buttons can't change. You can only change the text. So as this button says submit, when an end user fills in the details of this app, and then clicks on submit, the data will be saved and you can view all your submissions under the submissions tab. The Save Draft button helps a user to save their data, and if they need to fill in the details of the app later on and submit, this button is helpful. So let's say I fill in the details of this app partially, and now I click on Save Draft. So even if the end user were to close this tab and reopen the app again later, so I'll just close this and reopen the app, you can see that the saved details have now appeared after reopening the app. This also works in the mobile app. So based on these functionalities, you can change the text of these buttons accordingly and to your requirements. So let's say for this site inspection app, I would like to change the submit button into inspection carried out, and for the save draft button, maybe save for later. To do this, we go to the design app where you create your app structure. Now at the very bottom of the design app, you will see the submit and save draft button along with the discard button. When you hover your mouse over this area, you can see a dotted rectangular box. Click on it and a right hand panel will appear that will look like this. You will be able to change the text for the submit button, the save draft as well as the discard draft. So for the submit button, I will change it to inspection carried out. The save draft button can be saved for later, and I'll keep the discard draft text as it is. Then click on save. You can see that the text for the submit button and save draft button have been changed, and it will reflect the same in app home. So at the bottom in app home, you can see inspection carried out and save for later. These changes will also be reflected in the mobile app. You can download the mobile app via Play Store or App Store, and the moment you create and configure your app, it will be live and ready to use. So let's see if this has reflected in the mobile app. Over here you can see the mobile screen with the Clappia app downloaded on it. So I'll go ahead and click on the app and then click on the site inspection app, and here you can see the app is live and ready to use. When I scroll to the bottom of the app, you can see the following changes for the submit button and the save draft button. You can also see that the data I had given earlier has loaded again. That is because it has opened the draft. So like I had mentioned earlier, the functionality remains the same. You can click on discard draft to remove the saved data. Now if you require, you can also change the language of the submit button and the save draft button. Also for the discard draft, you can go back to the design app, and on the right hand panel, you can simply copy the text that you have given and change it according to your desired language. If English is the default in your keyboard, you can always use Google Translate. So for example, if I change the language to maybe say Hindi, enter the text here, copy the translated text and paste it over here. And I'll do the same for the save draft button and the discard draft button, like so. And then click on save. At the bottom, if you see, it has changed. And likewise, it will be changed in app home, as you can see over here. In case certain languages are not supported, especially in the case for languages that are from right to left or have certain scripts to them, then you can always reach out to us for this support. You can also change the language of all the fields in your app. There is a separate video on multi-language support which shows how you can do that in detail. Now that we have seen how to change the submit and draft buttons, you can also change the text for the options that show up upon a submission. I'll just make a quick submission here. Now I'll submit this, and here you can see the two buttons that show after a submission, whose text you can edit as well. Go back to the design app. First, I'll just quickly change the text back to English here for the submit and draft buttons and save it. Now here, you can see the submit another button text and the view submissions button text. You can also make the edits for the text. Save it. I'll go back to app home and make a quick submission to see the changes. You can now see the text have been altered. The functions remain the same. This button will take you back to App Home to make another submission, and this button will take you to view all the submissions you have made. Now there is another option that comes up here to view any PDFs that you may have configured. So let me just configure one for this app. I'll go back to Design App, and once you've created your app structure, go to Step 2 for Configuration, and then click on Print Settings. On the right panel, I will configure one quickly. You can check out our video on how to do this. Now if I go back on the right panel, this option now appears. Enable it if you want to view PDFs right after a submission. You can also edit the text. Save it. Now again I'll go to App Home and make a quick submission to see the change. This option now appears here with the edited text. Click on it to view the PDF. There are other options in this panel to configure, which will be covered in the next part of this video, so do check it out. So if you have any queries on how to change the text of these buttons or any other feature in Clappia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.